Hello everyone, Brad Hirsch here. I'm going to be doing a paddling video, and I'm currently out at Eastern Neck Island at a place called Bogles Wharf, which is a really cool and interesting place. Has a lot of history, has a lot of nature. There's the National Wildlife Refuge, which is right here as well, and there's also a water trail which goes around the entire island. Okay, I'm not going to be doing the entire island's water trail, but I will be doing a small section of it, highlighting a few cool, interesting parts. Okay, a few things that you want to be able to think about when you're here. There are two ways to get in the water here. Okay, the first way to get in the water is a traditional cemented boat ramp. However, that's pretty heavily used by recreational crabbers and fishermen and boaters. Okay, the second option is a nice sandy beach with some rocks near it that is basically designed for kayakers, canoers, and other people that want to get on the water trail without a motor, basically. Other cool things to know about this area: there is a lot of parking out here. There is a cement parking lot here, and on your average Saturday or Sunday, you'll probably see quite a few boaters out here, to be perfectly honest. So just be prepared for that. During many of the warmer months that we have in Maryland, there will also be a porta-john sitting out here as well. If there isn't a porta-john sitting out here in one of those time periods, as you enter Eastern Neck Island on the main road, there is a built bathroom structure there as well. So just kind of take that into account as you think about your bathroom necessities. Cool information about Bogles Wharf. It got its name in the late 19th century when Eastern Neck Island used to be an agricultural area. And so what the wharf was built for was to offload all of the agricultural products, your vegetables, your fruit, whatever was being grown here at the wharf, onto large ships that would take them over to the Western Shore and over to Baltimore so that they could be sold. The modern day wharf is much smaller than it used to be. Like, they used to have a dock that went 100 feet out into the deep water so that the ships that had a deeper draft would be able to come up here, load all their goods on, and then head off to Baltimore without any problems. Today, the docks don't go quite that far out, but it's a nice little place to walk, check out the wind, think about things along those lines. On that note, when you think about this area, you do have to think about the tides a little bit, but a concern that you're going to have, since this is kind of close to some more open water than a lot of the other creeks that Sultana will paddle, is going to be wind. You really want to be thinking about what the wind is going to look like in this area. Check it ahead of time. If it's anything over 10 miles per hour, you probably want to think about doing it another day. Okay, so I'm about ready to head out on my paddle. Okay, I am going to head sort of south out from Bogles Wharf, and I'm going to head in a little bit to a place called Durdin Creek, which is near the wharf, to check out a few downed limbs in that area. I'm going to continue on further south, and I'm going to go into a place called Shipyard Creek, and check out some wildlife and some cool underwater grasses there, and head out to close to where Hale Point is and Hale Cove. So I'll see you out there. Okay, so our first area on the kayak is just right out. You can see the wharf over there where we launched and set out. This is Durdin Creek over here. During the fall season, you can see some spectacular fall colors back through this creek. You can also see some downed limbs just over here on the outside of the creek, kind of telling the story of erosion on this island and how that has impacted plant life here and also impacted animals in this area, as well as tides move and wear away at the land. Here we are at our next area on this paddle. We're about 500 to maybe 750 yards southwest of Durdin Creek, and we have arrived now at Shipyard Creek. So there's some really cool things about Shipyard Creek, and we're going to kind of go explore into this area a little bit. So I've paddled about maybe 1,000 yards into Shipyard Creek, and I'm kind of entering the more narrow part of it at this point, which, you know, depending on the tide, this is a really cool area to check out some birds during the summer and the fall and late spring, to check out some really cool submerged aquatic vegetation, which impacts like the waves in this area and also the sedimentation in this area. And so yeah, just keep an eye out though. It can get shallow pretty quick in this area and narrow as well. So I've reached a lovely beach just north of Hale Point, and you can kind of see it right over here. It's a lovely sandy beach that goes out quite a ways. This is the product of the Hale Cove Restoration Project. About a decade ago, they decided they wanted to restore Hale Cove and Hale Creek, which is right behind me here. And one of the parts that they did here was, in addition to planting grasses and other things like that, they also set up a kind of jetty system, which is important for you because right now you can see it pretty easily. However, at a higher tide, they might be obscured by the water. And currently there are a few jetties that you can't even see at this tide. So you want to make sure that you're being conscious of where those rocks and those jetties might be, because they could destabilize you. Another cool note about this area, that this beach is a really cool place for diamondback terrapins to lay their eggs. So I've definitely come here at different parts of the year and seen the remains of eggs of baby diamondback terrapins. Pretty cool. And just coming back into Bogles Wharf, you can see a great blue heron over there. Pretty cool. Hello, so I'm back at Bogles Wharf right now, and that comes to the end of the paddle. And so just to kind of like think about a few things, obviously the Eastern Neck Water Trail is something that can be like as long as you want or as short as you want. So for today, like, you know, I was like out for maybe about an hour, a little over an hour paddle, just on one section of it. Circumnavigating the whole entire island, you would want to be thinking about a full day, but you can also just kind of take out and back trips around here. You can go up into creeks and come out. You can kind of modify it however you would like to do out this way. Just always be sure to know what the wind is looking like, what the tide is looking like, and to understand your skill level as well, and make sure that those three things, the wind, the tide, and your skill level, are working well together as you do any paddle. So with that, have a great day.